George Clooney is saying goodbye. After years of lighting up Hollywood, the shocking news of his wife Amal's tragic diagnosis has shaken their world and ours. A cruel twist of fate has left fans heartbroken and the world guessing. Let us uncover the truth that could change everything. George Clooney's quiet revolution. First, let's address the glaring elephant in the room. There's no hard proof, no headlines from reputable outlets confirming this supposed tragedy, no tearful press conferences, nada. What is known is that George and Amal recently celebrated their 10th wedding anniversary in September 2024. A whole decade of red carpets, power couple poses, and jet-setting with their twins, Ella and Alexander. Not exactly the backdrop for a sorrowful goodbye, right? But whispers from insiders suggest a storm is brewing, something that could change everything we know about the Clooneys. Speaking of Amal, she's still very much a force to be reckoned with. This is the woman who's made a career out of taking on international war criminals, defending human rights, and generally being the kind of person who makes everyone else feel a little underachieved. Most recently, she's been appointed as a special advisor to the International Criminal Court for the ongoing crisis in Darfur. Yes, while the rumor mill churns, Amal is out here doing what she does best, making the world a better place, one court case at a time. And George? Far from disappearing into the shadows, he's gearing up for his Broadway debut in Good Night and Good Luck, set to hit the stage in March 2025. That's right, he's trading the big screen for the theater's footlights, a bold move for a man supposedly bowing out of public life. Plus, he's still sticking his nose into political discourse, recently calling on President Joe Biden to reconsider running for re-election. Apparently, George has opinions, and he's not afraid to share them. Let's not forget the twins, Ella and Alexander. They're growing up in the Clooney dynasty, splitting their time between sun-soaked Lake Como and bustling New York City. Amal and George have always made it clear that family comes first. But does that mean George is hanging up his acting hat for good? Hardly. The guy's still got projects lined up, political causes to champion, and a Broadway debut to rehearse for. Perhaps the tale of tragedy and retirement stems from a slow news day. Maybe people can't resist imagining cracks in a seemingly perfect life. Or perhaps it's just wishful thinking from those who love a good Hollywood downfall story. Whatever the reason, the facts don't add up. George Clooney is many things: actor, director, activist, tequila mogul, family man. But a man fading quietly into the background? That's not his style. The supposed goodbye feels more like a poorly written script than reality. Until there's confirmation straight from George or Amal themselves, it's safe to assume the Clooneys are carrying on as usual, fighting the good fight, making headlines, and living their best lives. Amal's contributions to the world extend far beyond her headline-making marriage. She's not just a celebrity spouse, but a legal powerhouse in her own right. Her work advocating for international justice has seen her face off against some of the most daunting figures in modern history. Her appointment to advise the International Criminal Court for Darfur's conflict speaks volumes about her standing in the legal community. This isn't a woman sidelined by tragedy. This is a woman thriving in her domain. George's political involvement also adds another layer to his public persona. His plea for President Biden to reconsider another run isn't just tabloid fodder. It's part of a broader engagement with issues that matter. George has been vocal about his views on leadership, governance, and the challenges facing the nation. He's not afraid to wade into controversial waters, adding substance to the image of a Hollywood star with a conscience. The Clooney twins, meanwhile, remain an emblem of the couple's commitment to family. Whether they're sailing the waters of Lake Como or soaking in the culture of New York City, Ella and Alexander are growing up with a front-row seat to their parents' extraordinary lives. The Clooneys have managed to shield their children from the harsher glare of the spotlight, striking a balance that many in their position would envy. It's worth noting that George's career hasn't exactly been on pause. From directing critically acclaimed films to spearheading humanitarian projects, he's been anything but idle. His upcoming Broadway stint is a testament to his willingness to explore new horizons. It's a challenging transition from film to stage, but if anyone can pull it off with style, it's George. The persistent rumors of a tragic diagnosis or impending retirement seem to reflect a collective fascination with the Clooneys' lives rather than reality. Maybe it's the allure of a dramatic story arc. People love to see their idols rise and fall, creating narratives that feel like movie scripts. But real life, especially for the Clooneys, seems to be less about drama and more about purpose and resilience. George and Amal's enduring partnership is a rare gem in the world of glitzy breakups and tabloid scandals. Their mutual respect and shared values shine through in their personal and professional endeavors. They've shown the world that it's possible to blend glamour with substance, creating a legacy that goes beyond fame. The public's obsession with the Clooneys' every move is a double-edged sword. While it keeps their star power alive, it also fuels baseless speculation. For now, the Clooneys' actions speak louder than any unverified claims. They're not just surviving, they're thriving, proving that even in the face of relentless scrutiny, life can be as golden as it appears on the surface. Until there's irrefutable evidence to suggest otherwise, George Clooney's goodbye remains firmly in the realm of fiction. Whether it's tackling social issues, making art, or simply enjoying family life, the Clooneys continue to show that their story is far from over. They're living proof that in a world obsessed with drama, sometimes the truth is far more inspiring. Change seems to surround George Clooney, but is it all as it seems? A tale of friendship and fame. Let's get this straight. Hollywood friendships don't exactly have a reputation for standing the test of time. All those red carpets, award season snubs, and competitive egos usually mean friends forever. Lasts about as long as a box office flop stays in theaters. But then there's George Clooney and his trusted partner in crime, the golden pair who've somehow managed to keep their bond intact for over 20 years. And yes, they're still riding that wave, even though the rest of Hollywood's friendships have gone the way of Clooney's bachelor lifestyle, outdated and retired. Their little tale of camaraderie kicked off way back in the year 2000 on the set of Ocean's 11. You'd think two huge stars would circle each other like wary cats, but nope, sparks flew. Platonic sparks, that is. According to Clooney, who loves a good soundbite, they hit it off instantly. And just like that, they were off to the races. Not in the romantic sense, relaxed tabloids, but in the let's make millions on screen together while having a blast sense. A win-win, right? From there, they hopped onto the Hollywood conveyor belt of sequels and side projects. Ocean's 12, because when has Hollywood ever resisted cashing in? Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, Money Monster, and more recently, Ticket to Paradise. Every movie featured that patented Clooney and Company banter that's half charm, half eye-roll-worthy sarcasm. Critics called it chemistry. Skeptics might call it showing up for a paycheck with a buddy you tolerate. Either way, the formula worked. Moviegoers lapped it up, and their partnership became something of a brand. If Hollywood's favorite friends was a stock, you'd want to invest. Off-camera, their dynamic is one part mutual support and two parts elaborate prank war. Clooney, famous for being Hollywood's resident joker, met his match in his co-star. She's no saint either when it comes to on-set antics. Together, they've violent methods, co-stars and crew alike, with endless pranks. One has to wonder, does this humor stem from genuine affection or just boredom during endless takes? Whatever it is, it's been good for headlines. And then there's the personal stuff. Clooney spent the early 2000s convincing the world he was a permanent bachelor, only to blindside everyone by marrying Amal Alamuddin, an accomplished human rights lawyer, in 2014. By 2017, he had twins. Roberts herself is no stranger to the spotlight. She's navigated her own roller coaster of fame, family, and film flops. Let's not pretend every movie was a Pretty Woman. But through it all, there's Clooney, ready to gush about her talent, humor, or whatever other compliment will make headlines that day. In return, Roberts is quick to call Clooney her favorite co-star or share a cute anecdote about their friendship. It's almost like they're trying to keep their brand alive. Cynical? Maybe. But Hollywood thrives on nostalgia, and these two have plenty to go around. No Hollywood friendship is complete without a side of public intrigue. Clooney's personal life has always been fodder for gossip rags, so when whispers of trouble in paradise popped up about his marriage, it didn't take long for Robert's name to get dragged into the narrative. Did she really break her silence about Clooney's rumored issues? Hard to say, but even if she didn't, the gossip machine loves to spin a good tale. Roberts and Clooney's friendship, solid as it might be, isn't immune to Hollywood's favorite pastime, creating drama where there might not be any. Expanding beyond the publicized moments, the longevity of their friendship may rest on something less glamorous than Hollywood likes to admit: workplace camaraderie. For decades, the set of a film has been a second home to actors, and shared hours under hot lights or repeating lines dozens of times often forges connections that might not develop anywhere else. Clooney and Roberts exemplify this phenomenon. In the dozens of interviews and press junkets they've done together, there's a visible ease between them. It's the kind of casual banter that usually doesn't survive in an industry where publicists and egos loom large. Perhaps their friendship is less a miraculous anomaly and more a byproduct of shared career paths. Still, the constant polishing of their Hollywood's best buddies image raises eyebrows. For all the pranks and laughter, there's a very intentional marketing machine at play. Their shared projects have netted hundreds of millions of dollars, and a good chunk of that is owed to the story of their partnership off-screen. Audiences aren't just buying tickets for the film, they're buying into the relationship that's been carefully curated over decades. It's a strategy that's worked well for both of them, and it's part of why their friendship has stayed front and center in the public consciousness. Let's not forget how rare their bond is in a world dominated by fierce competition. Hollywood is notorious for being a dog-eat-dog world, where actors often see each other as threats rather than allies. It's worth questioning whether Roberts and Clooney's friendship has endured partly because they're rarely competing for the same roles. Their careers have taken distinct paths. Roberts as America's sweetheart, and Clooney as Hollywood's debonair everyman. There's little overlap, which might explain why their friendship has remained untainted by professional jealousy. Even with all the goodwill, their friendship isn't entirely immune to public scrutiny. Clooney's foray into family life has often been juxtaposed with Roberts' well-documented challenges in maintaining privacy for her own children. Their vastly different approaches to balancing personal and professional lives have occasionally invited commentary about who's doing it better, an unfair and frankly tired narrative that plays into stereotypes about men and women in Hollywood. But for the most part, they've managed to sidestep the pitfalls that often drag long-term friendships into the mud. Every partnership has a star who stands out: the dual lives of Hollywood's sweetheart. Of course, longevity alone doesn't make a friendship admirable. What sets Clooney and Roberts apart is their willingness to lean into their public personas and laugh at themselves in the process. Whether it's Clooney roasting Roberts during award shows, or Roberts sharing behind-the-scenes anecdotes that feel carefully vetted but still funny, they've mastered the art of self-aware celebrity friendship. They're in on the joke, and that's part of what makes their dynamic so appealing to fans. Let's talk about Julia Roberts. You know, the America's sweetheart, whose grin could light up a room, or apparently distract you from thinking too hard about her career choices. Born to actor parents, Betty Lou and Walter Roberts, Julia practically grew up with the smell of theater dust in her nostrils. Her parents ran some artsy little thing called the Atlanta Actors and Writers Workshop, so it's not exactly shocking that she ended up in Hollywood. When you're raised with parents staging monologues in the living room, what else are you gonna do? Sell insurance? Please. Julia's early years weren't exactly glitzy. After trudging through Campbell High School, no scandals there, boring, she briefly dabbled in higher education at Georgia State University. But, shocker, college didn't stick. Instead, she packed up and headed to New York City, chasing her big break. Spoiler, she got it, but not right away. Her acting debut came with a small role in the TV show Crime Story in 1987, where she played a juvenile intimate victim. Then came Satisfaction in 1988, a film no one talks about because, frankly, it's not worth talking about. But hey, everyone's got to start somewhere, right? Fast forward to 1990, and Julia hit the jackpot with Pretty Woman. Suddenly, she wasn't just an actress. She was a phenomenon. People couldn't get enough of her hooker with a heart of gold act. The film was a box office smash, and Julia had officially arrived. Did the script have depth? Not really. Did people care? Absolutely not. From there, her career became a roller coaster of romantic comedies, dramas, and the occasional dud. My Best Friend's Wedding in 1997 and Notting Hill in 1999 solidified her as the go-to for romantic leads. Then came Erin Brockovich in 2000, where she ditched the rom-com fluff and won an Oscar. You'd think that would have marked a new era of serious roles, but no. She wasn't about to give up the paycheck-friendly charm of crowd pleasers. Julia's collaborations with George Clooney began with Ocean's 11 in 2001. Their chemistry was undeniable, mainly because they seemed to genuinely like each other. Hollywood's fake friendships are a dime a dozen, but this one seemed real. They followed it up with Ocean's 12 and a few other projects, including Ticket to Paradise in 2022, where their banter carried the film more than the plot ever could. Rumors about George's personal life eventually brought Julia into the conversation. The internet loves drama, and any comment she made was carefully dissected, analyzed, and memeified, because that's just how we roll in the 21st century. Did she reveal anything groundbreaking? No. But her presence always seems to add fuel to the fire, ensuring that neither she nor George will ever be far from the spotlight. Meanwhile, Julia's personal life is pretty tame. She's been married to cinematographer Daniel Moder since 2002, and they've got 3 kids. She keeps her private life well. Private. For someone who's been in the spotlight for decades, that's an achievement in itself. While she's still working, her recent projects include Leave the World Behind and narrating Lisa Marie Presley's memoir. She's clearly prioritizing family over fame these days. Now about her friendship with Clooney. These two have managed to stay close despite Hollywood's notorious knack for chewing up relationships and spitting them out. They've pulled pranks, praised each other in interviews, and generally behaved like two people who genuinely enjoy each other's company. It's refreshing, sure, but also a little nauseating in that, oh look, they're just like us kind of way. Except they're not. They're absurdly rich, absurdly famous, and can probably order room service in their sleep. Julia's career, much like her public persona, is a mix of charm, talent, and calculated choices. She's not the risk-taker who'll star in some indie film for the sake of art. She's a brand, and she knows it. And hey, it's worked for her. But don't let the dazzling smile fool you. Behind the glitz and glam, Julia's as savvy as they come, navigating Hollywood's murky waters like a pro. Julia's rise to fame wasn't handed to her on a silver platter, even if her parents' artistic inclinations nudged her in that direction. She's always known how to play the long game, whether that meant starring in crowd pleasers or carefully avoiding scandals that could have derailed her career. Her charm lies in her relatability. Even when it's carefully manufactured, she knows the power of a smile, a laugh, and just the right amount of mystery to keep people intrigued. So, what do you think? Has Julia mastered the art of staying relevant, or is she just playing it safe? Drop your thoughts in the comments, like, and subscribe.